Hey, this is Branford Marsalis, and you're watching First Look.
Branford Marsalis and his quartet have just released their debut album for the Blue Note label. It's called Belonging. It's their song-for-song reinterpretation of Keith Jarrett's 1974 ECM album, which is also titled Belonging. Thanks for being here today, man, to talk about it. Good to see
Pleasure,
you.
Don. Pleasure. Good to see you, bro.
You made a gorgeous record, man. It respects the songs without deconstructing them beyond recognition, but it also feels completely new and fresh. How do you walk that fine line?
I've always been a fan of the organic process. And, I'm from New Orleans, and you know what it's like down here. I mean, guys play instruments okay, and they play music great. So it wasn't until I moved up north that I even thought about the idea of like deconstructing other people's songs and adding chords that weren't there and adding meter that weren't there. And it always seemed confusing to me because I never really understood who the target audience was. Like people that like the Beatles. They don't like the Beatles reharmonized. And people who like jazz tend to not be like big, huge Beatles fans. So I don't know who you're making that record for. And so when we decided we were gonna, tackle Keith's music, we were already decades into this whole philosophy. We're just gonna play the songs as they were written. And then if we're good enough, we can make it sound different without trying.
Man, I think you really succeeded, man. When Keith recorded the original album, it served as the introduction to his recently formed quartet. On the other hand, your band's been playing together for decades.
Right.
So for listeners who aren't musicians or haven't played in bands, can you talk about the alchemy that can occur when a group of players has that kind of lengthy experience together?
I think the great saxophonist Warren Marsh said it best in an interview. He was asked, jazz interviews get strange questions. Like, you play with the same guys all the time. Why would you do that? Don't you want to change it up? And he said, he went through this whole thing. He says, you go to a party, you don't know people. So you have all these questions you ask. Where are you from? What do you like? And say you're a big fan of philosophy and you like Kierkegaard. I mean, you don't introduce that in the party. You already know it's not going to work unless you meet a person. And if you meet that person, you say, oh, have you read Camus? Have you read this? Have you read that? And then you say, oh, we can explore this further. He says, but most of the time in a party setting, you engage in small talk. And he says, playing tunes with people you don't know is like engaging in small talk. It'll pass, but there's no meaning to it. And I was like, damn, Warren, that's the shit, man.
The first single off the album is called Spiral Dance. On the surface, it's a groovy hard bop jam, but under the hood, man, it's a pretty complex and very challenging song to play. At least I think so. Tell us a little bit about that one.
I mean, it's the first song on the record. We played all the songs in the same order that Keith put the songs on the record in deference to Keith. It's just, if you play a chamber piece and it's 4 movements, you don't play the 4th movement first. You respect the concept of continuity that the composer decided. So that's why we did that. And yeah, I mean, the changes are tricky. And maybe that's why on the record, it was just a bass solo on the vamp. But we decided we were going to play it on the tune.
Yeah. Let's play a little bit of it. That's the Branford Marsalis Quartet Spiral Dance from their new release, Belonging. Branford, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on the new album, and welcome to Blue Note Records, man.
Thank you, my man. I appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me. Look forward to seeing you more.
Thank you. All right, see y'all next time on First Look. If you enjoyed First Look and would like to see more, please hit the subscribe button and also click the bell icon. That way, you'll be notified when we post our next video.